George, this is Global Digest Think Tank Group. Before we start our discussion, George, why don't you introduce to our audience where are you right now and what your background? Please, George.
Thank you, John. So I'm Alan George, that is my name. I'm George now, president of Indictment Chamber at the Corporate Affairs of Muila. I'm from Gabon. I'm in Gabon right now, but not in the capital. I'm working at the Nodal Corporate Affairs in the first province of the country. I'm a French speaker. No, in Gabon we use French.
I see. In Asia,
Yeah, we use French.
In Asia, a lot of judges, they cannot speak English very well, or they cannot speak French at all. But you are better. Your judge in Africa is much better.
Okay, so I'm a judge. I started my work with the government like a prosecutor in 27 in the second town, second city of the country that called Port-Gentil. I was a prosecutor then, a public prosecutor, and I worked there for 5 years. And after that, I was appointed as a prosecutor in the second court in Gabon, called Muila, when I'm working right now. I made only 1 year working here in Muila, and then the government sent me to the 5th country of the Gabon, who called Nyanga, because there we have a lot of wild trafficking, illegal fishing, human trafficking. And because the government know that, I was very close. I was working closely with the U.S. Embassy of our country in the issue of human trafficking to know how to try to fix the issue. And because they know that I was very strong in that issue, and I went there and I prosecute a lot of human traffickers. Even I put many of them in the jail, and I saved a lot of people who was a victim of that crime. But I stayed in Chibanga only for the other 5 years, fixing the world issue like illegal fishing, wildlife trafficking, and human trafficking. And after giving my report to the government and also to the U.S. Embassy, and I was sent to the Washington DC, to the United States at Washington DC, and to be part of one training there in leadership. I made only 6 months, and when I come back in my country, I strengthened my procedure to prosecute better human trafficking in the world country. And then I did some meeting. I went to the television and to make awareness with UNICEF. I work now closely with UNICEF in Gabon, and they gave me the contract to draft the first child code in Gabon, and I did it in 2015. And then I made some good things for the country. And on 2015, I received the Iqbal Masih Award, and I was the first Black judge in Africa. We received that prize, given by the Department of State of the United States. And after that, because of Gabon has a lot of wood, the good, precious wood, some entrepreneurs, some societies is looking for. And in one country called Makoku, the small town of the Gabon, in the 6th province of the country, there was a lot of wood trafficking, illegal logging, and also poaching, something like that. And the conflict between elephant and a human happened in Makoku, and the government make a meeting, and they decide that the only one prosecutor we have in Gabon who can help the government to fix that issue is Alain Georges Mukoko. And I was, for the new term, sent in that court to work with officers NGOs, but I prefer working with the one I better like to work with, Conservation Justice, and we work together. And I discover the big chef of that NGOs. We call he has an organization called Eagle Network, and then we work it together in Makuku, and I prosecute every poachers, illegal loggers, and illegal miners also. And I did a good job there. Even arrest 2 ministers of our government because they're involved in corruptions. And I make arrestation of 21 officers of forest in our country. Who was practicing some bad contract with some societies, encouraging them to cut illegal wood because they were corrupt. They received a lot of money to allow some illegal society to cut wood, even the forbidden wood, what we call kevazingo. And I arrested them. I locked the whole office of those officers working at the forest ministry, and then the government sent the new order to reopen the office and to work closely with me, fixing and fighting illegal logging. So I did a good job, and after that, I went to the US again to be part of fellows at the ECCF, and I made 6 months there in Washington. After that, I was working closely with, still working closely with US Embassy, and I received a grant to be part of Humphrey Fellows program. And I went to the US again on 2019, and I started with Montana in the small town called Missoula at the University of Montana. 6 months practicing English, and I was sent to California, Davis, at the University of Davis, to learn on environmental policies and natural resources. And I made 1 year and a half, but our program was scheduled from many states. I took some courses in Washington, D.C. on leadership, some other courses in Sacramento. I was working with California Association District Attorney, and they sent me, they found some good program to work with them in LA. And I was also in San Francisco to be part of some training there. Even get also to Atlanta. We have workshop in some part of the US states. And then I came back in Gabon on 2020 when COVID-19 was very, very, very strong around the world. And back in my country, the government tried to give me the big court of our perfect court of Libreville, and I denied that appointment because in Libreville, I fixed my condition. I said, I'm not, if we send me in the Libreville, I will fight against corruption. But I know that my colleague judges and some other prosecutors involved in corruption in Libreville courts. So they created one environmental cell in within Libreville court, which is in charge of fighting against environmental crimes. So they say, okay, you will be a focal point and the trainer for the world magistrate of Gabon, because he was in some several training. He was in Washington, D.C. in the United States, and you can share with your colleague how to better fight against environmental crime. That's what I'm doing. I'm heading some training with UNICEF and UNEDC. I was a consultant with UNEDC for 2 years, from 2020 to 22nd. I went to Kinshasa Brazzaville, and Chad, Cameroon, and Asia. And I was the main trainer of UNIDC with Alexandra, who was the manager of the UNIDC, to provide training against money laundering. The main topic was money laundering, and the subtopic was money laundering related to wildlife trafficking and natural resources trafficking. So it was a good experience. And right now I'm having some hearings, criminal hearings in my court. That is what I can say about me. There is many things I can talk about me, so you can discover
Yes,
if we are
yes.
going to develop our things.
I see you have very a good story and a good background. As you said, you are now not just simple judge. You are more than judge. You are trainer for the judges. You know, you now trainer for judges across the African continent, beyond Gabon country, right? So you are doing more. It's becoming regional level. And you mentioned you also track out with all the corruption issue. You have experience, you know, how to deal with corruption and also human trafficking. It's human trafficking, you mean from which country to which country?
Okay, we have child trafficking first between Nigeria. You have Nigeria, you have Benin, you have Togo. Those three countries, main countries, we send kids in Gabon to work as a small worker, in house worker, something like that, prostitution. And we have the other one phenomenon we call ritual crimes in Gabon. That means some big boss in the government would trust to some other, I can say, development to say, okay, if you need to be a minister alive, a minister for many times, you have to bring some kids. We need to kill that kid and to take the blood of kids and to make some medication with that, and then something like that. And then they bring kids for those purposes also, but mostly to work in the small society, in some houses, closed houses, and something like that. You have also Mali, because Mali, they bring the small daughters, small kids, to get married with the big Muslims here in Gabon, because they like to get married with the women who didn't meet with the first man, where we call in French vierge, who didn't know the first man in this life, and they made those marriage, but not officially. And I have to discover all that situation with my partner working, making vigilances and some investigation around the city, and we discovered that Mali was the first country who sent those girls for that purpose. And you have Benin, Togo, and Nigeria. But Cameroon was also the other country victim, because we have the big society called Siad Gabon. And Siad Gabon is doing in the manufacturing soap, coffee, also growing beef in the country. And it is an international one, but they use some men we can cost a lot of money, and then they organize some recruitment, sending some leader to went to the border between Cameroon and Gabon. We call that there is the market. We call that market. There is a name near close to the 9th province of Gabon, and then Cameroon people who are looking for the job can come there at that site, and the recruiter meet with them in that site. They can take them passports, took that passport. They can schedule a small flight taking those men in that site and bringing them in the private airports that the society has made in the inner forest in Gabon. And those small airports wasn't registered by the official site of Gabon. And then the men work there with the recruiter, and they have been promised that they will have the good salary, but the one they were earning wasn't the good salary. Most of them die in the forest, and the recruiter can send the body of the victim to them country because they are locked. They are locked because they recruit those guys illegally. And I discovered that network also concerning Cameroon. So in general, we have Cameroon, we have Togo, Benin, we have Mali for the girls, and we have Nigeria.
Right.
And I was developing my leadership with officers, with NGOs, UNICEF, also the support of U.S. Embassy in Gabon to fight the framework of those criminals. And
Right.
I did well and I had success. Right now in Gabon, we have a good legal framework against that kind of international crimes. And I make awareness to the government. We have better law now. And even in the diplomatic relationship between our country and those countries, there is now some mechanism they put into place to better stop with that situation.
You know, when you investigating those cases by yourself, or you rely on lawyer or prosecutor or other evidences, or you yourself, you know, you screening, or you yourself go and investigate those things? How did you find out evidences?
Okay. Mostly, I have some strategies that I use to better
Right.
identify the site where we can look at the issue of human trafficking. I have what we call in France focal points in some villages in my jurisdiction, and even I put some small phone and I put the SIM card on it. I can give to the focal point each end of month amount of money to put the units, the credit in the phone. And the purpose is to receive some information relating to what is happening in the area where he's living. And also, I was working with police officers. The best one, I train myself in my office, and I show them my strategy. I show them how we can work together to fix that issue. And I did it progressively because the issue of what human trafficking was the more important I have to fix, I have to deal with. And then gendarme, we call those police officers gendarme. The gendarme have the general competencies in the province.
Right.
And they have many checkpoints in some villages, and I recommend them to work not with them uniform, because you know the trafficker, when you can see the officer with uniform,
Right.
you can, yeah. And those are some gendarme who work with yeah. And then they have also my phone number, and each thing they can see which will be illegally, they have to call me, and then I can get go to the land with them, and we can work undercover, making some investigation myself in the spot, in the land, and collecting investigation. I like that job because being with officers in the field, it's very fantastic. That's what I like. I really like to work.
You
And
are
then
you are
I can have
very judge.
I can have glasses, hot, clothes, and then I have my microphone, and I can, with officers, we can make investigation and to reach to arrestation of the criminals. That's how I'm working with them.
You are doing extraordinary judge, you know. Some judge, they don't want to investigate or even they don't want to properly, you know, check document, already presented document. They don't want to check. But your case, you not just only paperwork, you know, yourself went out there and yourself find evidences, yourself check all this strategy, you know, you make a plan strategy and you investigate properly to be exact evidences and exact you know, verification. That is, I can say you are extraordinary judge, not simple judge, because
So,
they don't want to move
John,
their feet.
John, I did it when I was prosecutor from 27 to 2019. I was a prosecutor. But after doing that, there was an incident when I arrested the minister who involved in corruption, the minister in charge of forestry and water resources. I arrested them, and then the president of the republic called me at the president's office and to ask me what or proof the evidence you have against my ministers that you arrest. And I show him the word proof. And after that time, they decide to appoint me like a judge at the Court of Appeal because they know that as a judge at the Court of Appeal, I can't anymore went to the field in the forest with officers. Now my job is only to be at the court and to receive procedures, to receive evidence and the criminals, and to decide who is guilty or not, and to through the hirings we are having to judge them. So now that is the second job I'm doing like a judge. I can't now anymore went to the forest, to the fields when I was working like a prosecutor with officers to make some investigation. So I regret that the government appointed me like a judge, but so it's a good thing also, like a judge have more power to judge
Right.
and to receive evidence and a criminal and to decide which kind of penalty we are going to give them.
You know, when you are judging, did you consider evidences including, you know, text message from mobile phone or you said you use mobile phone as well, right?
Yeah,
The
yes,
judge can consider those mobile phone messages, voice recording, it's solid evidence, right?
yeah,
Because
exactly. The good thing will be to be trained on how we can collect really evidence on wildlife trafficking, drug trafficking, illegal fishing trafficking, illegal logging trafficking, something like that. even human trafficking. And we need those kind of person, those kind of magistrate or officers. We can have the Gabonian judicial system to better fight against international crimes.
so you did mention a lot of corruption and, you know, criminal charges about trafficking and, you know, those who are organizer for those traffickers.
You know, I want to say Gabon was on 2000 a transit country of the issue of human trafficking. But step by step, Gabon now become also the source country of human trafficking. But those who develop that type of crimes are mostly from our neighborhood, not from Gabon. They are not citizens of Gabon. We have mostly Cameroonians. We use girls in prostitutes and also in the casino, what we call in French casino.
Right.
The way people go to play and something like that.
Yes.
And you have Togolese and Beninois. We use small girlfriend, young girlfriends as sailors walking to the market into the market. There is a phenomenon in Gabon, or what we call mendicité in French. That means those women brings and they rob also small kids in Benin, Togo, Nigeria, Mali, bringing them in Gabon, putting them in some part of the road and having some split to ask money to the drivers, taxis men, the person who pass across, they can give them some money, and that money, those small girls are collecting and small boys are collecting. They bring that money to the one we exploit them, and that guy can become a rich man, a billionaire, thanks to that exploitation. That is one case, one situation. The second one is Cameroonians. We recruit women in Togo, Cameroon, in Benin, bringing them in Gabon to work in what we call in French nightclub. In those nightclubs, they can do what we call striptease. Striptease, that means women who can dance without clothes. Yeah, without clothes, and many bad guys like to be in those part of bar and nightclub and dancing
Sexual
clubs.
relationship, right?
Yeah, and
For
to
sex.
see those, yeah, for sex, exactly. And the same women can work also in the close house as a prostitute, something like that, and also in some hotel when they have some they have to host one delegation from abroad, even politically, or some event when we receive some soccers in the country, some part of soccer in the country. Those women who are recruited by the recruiter can be put in some hotel and to learn money. And that money they are getting, they have to represent that the world money to the recruiter. If no, they can be they can be killed.
Not just hotel. Nowadays they use many location like
Exactly.
club, music room, or coffee shop, or restaurant, or many location they can targeted by those sexual business. There are many
Exactly.
sexual business.
Now that we have Gabon citizen, we are
They become rich,
how we can
right?
call it? We call it in French complice. The person we encourage that crime, because those who bring slave in Gabon, prior to bring the victim of traffic in Gabon, they have the list of Gabon citizens who would like to have one nurse, a private nurse in his house. We would like to have one gardener in his house.
It's a kind of
yeah, exactly. And then they give their phone number to the recruiter who are not a citizenship, and that recruiter can bring slave and call the Gabonese that, okay, you asked me for 2 girls, right? Yeah, I have 2 girls for you, and the price is this amount each month. And the Gabonese say, okay, bring them, and they can bring them discreetly to the house of that Gabonese to exploit that victim. That's why the Gabonese citizens become also the criminals.
They also
involved
in
that
criminal,
exactly.
right? So those agents, organized agent, they can be agent, they can be like travel agent, or job recruitment agent, or if they are coming by legally, it can be student visa, or marriage visa. So a lot of they brought here with the agent, and the agent make a lot of money by matching them, and they get a lot of profit, and the agent become rich. So you said they are also Gabonians. They are agent, they are recruiter and agent for those matching, and they make a lot of profit. And
Yes.
also, I don't know, maybe through this kind of business, it become a lot of social exploitation, human rights violation, migrant exploitation, immigration system problem, and all this become a kind of trash or a kind of problem inside Gabon, because they bring
Yes.
all kind of people and matching to Gabon by those agents, by making business, making profit, like sex business, or all kind of business they are doing. As long as they get money, those those people were doing. So did you, maybe probably they never background checking the one woman or prostitutes came to Gabonian, right? They never check their background checking what kind of woman or what kind of people, and the agent will just take money, whoever, they just bring it in, they brought them, but the Gabonian government doesn't know what kind of background of the woman or the marriage woman, or a lot of, people came to Gabon, and some are no education or poor education or a lot of social problem, and it's become trash in Gabon, in trash in Gabon
Yeah.
society, something like that.
The background of mostly the women who came in Gabon are from the poor families, and without education. The I can say intellectually, some of them can't know how to read and can't know how to write. So that is the constant we used to do. And when they come, the document related to the travel, like passports and the ticket of flight, mostly they come by boats using the sea, and crossing to some isles, waiting in the night when the officers are not in the spot, and to come to the town, to Libreville. When we arrest them, mostly they can say, even some of them don't speak French very well. And there is also one practice we call voodoo, what trafficker used to do to practice on the victims before landing in Gabon or approaching the coast of Gabon. When they came in the isles, they have to kill one, even they kill one animal and put some I don't know how to say, inside the belly of the animal, and they ask for the girls to cross that animal by swearing, and to say, okay, I'm like Shasha, I swear for not giving information to anyone in Gabon, for not giving information to officers, for not escaping, for not doing this, doing that. If I'm gonna do that, and then the spirit of this animal is going to kill me at the second, or at the moment I'm going to open my mouth to declare that I'm a victim. So we
Right.
used to, meet the small girls carrying the big recipient on the head, with smoked fishes, with smoked meat, with goods, selling those fish around the city, and everyone can know if she's a victim or not. And you need to to be to follow and to track that victim and to know where she's going to sleep, with whom she's working, for whom he's working for, and the job she's doing is on the benefit of which person. And by doing that, you can know that is a deeper investigation we are going to do. That means you have to follow that girl the whole day, starting maybe at 10 a.m. and you can reach out the trafficker around 9 p.m. in the closed house or in the one quarter. And after that, you have now to interrogate and to questions the trafficker, and to have the list of the world person who take profit, who take benefits of the job that that girl is doing, and to know from which country that girl is from, and who is the family of the girls. And UNICEF used to help us by giving us some money to recruit some detective, and we need to work with detective, even within the police officers. We can take one and to pay him to say, okay, your job is to follow, to track these two girls, small girls, or to track this boy, and to know where she is sleeping, with whom she's living here in Libreville. And that kind of work she's doing is benefiting to whom person. And that person, we need to interrogate that person to know that small girl we have age to be to the school, to get to the school. She's not going to the school, but walking around the city selling some goods to other person. Why she's doing that? Who are his family? Some question like that, and step by step we have to make investigation. So the profile of those girls is the same. No education. They can speak French. They have to speak their own language that the recruiter know. That means the recruiter need to be need to use the language, the native language of that victim also. That's why they went to those countries, Benin, Togo, and to recruit also Togolese, Beninois who speak the same language with them. And that is also how they maintain those victims in control, because the victim can speak in French and to interact with officer or with Gabonese, with other person.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the profile.
So you know, as you said, there should be investigation, and somebody follow the lady, and you know, the investigation will be done, and where the lady is going, where the lady is sleeping, for whom she is working for. So it's investigated by yourself, judge or prosecutor or somebody else, or your self-experience investigation.
Okay. So that is my experience, because I can say that in Gabon, most of judges, and I did those investigations when I was a prosecutor.
I see.
And I get over with the post of the post of prosecutor, the position of prosecutor on 2017 to 2019. I was deputy general attorney at the Court of Appeal prior to be appointed like a judge and president of indictment chamber. But those I'm talking about, I did it when I was prosecutor, public prosecutor. And even I made many investigations myself, working with even one officers or two. And when I can see that the case is going to be complex, and then I can call for the whole police officer to say, okay, we have a meeting in my office, and in the meeting I can show them the first evidence I collected myself, and I say, I suspect that we are in the case of human trafficking, this evidence called to develop a big investigation, the deep investigation to catch the trafficker, the victims, and the world framework of the trafficker. So, and we discussed on the case, and the chief officer can say, okay, I have two groups to organize, that group to follow, the second group is to make investigation on the trafficker in the world. Even some of the officer can get to the airport to have some information if that some name we collected came in Gabon from by using flight, airport, by airport or boat,
Right.
by the sea or by the route, which company, something like that. And then I can stay in my office waiting for information. And when the information comes, I can decide, I can say, okay, this information is enough, this is not enough. We need to make some research again and to complete this information. And for doing that, I need this profile of officer or this other profile of officer. I need this, I need that. And then I can send that again to continue investigation. And after that, they can catch the world framework, because it's dangerous to take the victim before discovering the world framework of trafficker. If you're doing that, the trafficker can kill the victim in any way. They can come to the police officer and to kill the victim, or to rob the victim and to disappear with him, or to kill him even at the court when the police officer is bringing the victim at the court. So that's why prior to taking the victim and to putting her in one organization, some NGOs to take her psychologically and medically, something like that, we need to be sure that the trafficker is A, B, and C. They are working with A, B, and C, and at that time we give the top. When we give the top, in the same day, we need to catch the trafficker, to catch those who exploit the victims, and to take the victim at that moment, to bring him to the specialist. We can try to the specialist of UNICEF. We know how to track, how to work with the victim, and to have the story of the victim.
Right.
It's more important to have the story of the victim.
Definitely.
Who is his parents? Who is the really name? Because mostly they use not the really name, but the name given by the trafficker. And who is what is his village, his country, how she came in Gabon. Even if by boat, we need to know which kind of boat. If by flight, we need to know which company they use to land in Gabon. If by route, which company and which border they crossed to be in Gabon. How they did to enter in the town. We need that story.
Travel agent, which travel agent, or which if student, which university, and if company, which company. So you have to check all this information, right?
Yeah. Because it's more important to support the hiring and to propose the penalty at the court.
Right.
It's very important to have the story. And that story also can make connection between the world framework we get involved in human trafficking. Those who are in the country of origin country, we can know that in origin country there is ABC, we are in charge of recruitment, and ABC, we are in charge of smuggling, because smuggling also is an issue, is a way they use to bring the victim in Gabon, which is in charge of smuggling, which is in charge of having cars to cross the borders illegally with the victim. And then we can communicate with the police of that country to say, okay, here in Gabon, we arrest ABC person who are developing the human trafficking. The victim or ABCD also, but UNICEF and the government of Gabon is taking care of those victims prior to sending them in them country. But you need to secure the way, to secure the village, to secure the country prior to the coming back of those victims in them country, because those who have recruit them in your country are still there. And then we can collaborate with the police officer of that country to know if they can also arrest those who are in charge of recruiting victims in that country. Doing that is the good things, the good way, but mostly the collaboration is not good between Gabon and those countries, even Benin and Togo. Mostly when we send victims there, we send some information there, nothing is made. That means that practice for them is like it's not a crime. It's not a
also a lot of corruption or bribery at the sending countries among officer, government officer or maybe travel tourism or officer or any government officer in the sending country, also in recipient country, not just a businessman or travel agents or trafficker, also corrupt in the government officer may involve, so it will be more complicated cases. So you are doing a lot of complicated job, it's not that easy. you trace your cases. I appreciate it because you did not rely on somebody evidence or other evidence yourself. You get evidence, you investigate by yourself. So there is no way nobody can cheat you, even the judge, as you have your own the first-hand evidence. Nobody can manipulate the case, because there are a lot of either prosecutor or police, or they may still able to manipulate if you don't have first-hand evidences. So I appreciate that you're saying your service investigating and your service planning all this trafficking and the victim and all these things you're managing. It is more than simply judge, responsible judge. Many judge, they never touch in they never go out to find out investigation or to check it, evidences. But you are doing more than that. So you have both prosecution experience and judge experience. So you are more, extraordinary experience in that field. And by the way, there is one thing, as you mentioned, the victim cannot speak the French language or Gabon language. So
we use interpreters. We use interpreters who speak French and the language of the victim, the one who work with the court. And prior to interpreting the question and the answer of the victims, he has to swear in the court. After swearing, and he have to be paid also by the court. And that one is the one who can translate the answer of the victims, the story of the victim in French. So he has the question in French. He asks a question to the victims, and the victims give also answer and in them language, and he has to translate the answers from the language, the native language of the victim, into French. If he's doing bad the translation, if he's giving the false response, and he will be prosecuted also. There are penalty against translator we are not doing good his job, because he will be paid for that. And our penal code provides also penalty for the translator who are not giving the really accurate response given by the victim. It is possible, you know, we have many challenges in those in that case, many challenges, and that kind of document we didn't use that, we didn't have it, but it will be better to have it.
Right.
Also, I will think about it. That is a good idea, but we need to propose, because, you know, the only manner we are using is provided by the penal code and the code of procedures also. We can do, because our good practice is now defined by the penal code and the procedure. And then by doing investigation, we can use some other practice, but you can propose as the materials we can use to better receive the story of the victims and to better receive the testimony of the victims. Is also good to have those kind of documents,
Right.
including the language, the native language of the victims, and French, even English, 3 language, or 4 Arabic, for instance, also,
Right.
and to put the question in each language. And then if the victim know how to read, she can identify his native language and to say, okay, this is my native language, and the question is going this way, and to put the answer near to the question. Definitely. Using his native language. And then with that native language, that question, we can now have the translation in French or in English or in Arabic.
Definitely.
It's also better to have one application. I don't know if it is possible to have an application using the code, and even in the NGOs who are in charge of caring about the victim. That means the victim can speak, and the application within the computer, and can capture the response of the victim and automatically can give the translation even in French, Arabic, or in English. It will be also the good idea to
it's more
have
about
kind of
technical issue, you know, technical
yeah.
issue. But as you mentioned, it's very good that one, if the court can provide both the court language and the court host country language and the victim own language, 2 language together, so victim can see at least our own language and can read directly. So that is also good enough if the victim can read writing in her own language. If victim has very poor education, no any reading capable or no education, that is another issue, you know. So,
exactly.
So that is good idea. You agree to such kind of possible to provide written written documents. And the other thing, when you do judgment, example, they are trafficker. It can be foreign trafficker or your own country trafficker. So how did you prosecute? You did judgment, same punishment for both equally trafficking crime on that, or you give favor to your own country trafficker, not punish as foreign trafficker, or you make distinguish, or you equally make judgment, or whoever make crime, trafficking crime.
Both, because when we make judgment, we have the partner in crime who are also included in the judgment. We have the trafficker and we have the partner in crime. Both need to be punished by the court.
Excellent.
And that means we can have a citizen, for instance, a Gabonese, the one we use the strength of the victims, has the labor, we use the work of the victim in his house. He need to be punished at the same moment with the trafficker also. So we use what?
I see. That's good. You did good job. You did good job.
So mostly in Gabon, our legal framework don't provide punishment for the war victims. One woman can be victims of human trafficking by being prostitute. But if she was a prostitute, there is some also article in the penal code we punish the prostitute. But by knowing his statute, we say that she came in Gabon through the recruitment, we bring her here in Gabon, working with that guy by doing prostitute. So it's not for her own willing to be a prostitute.
But
She was in the need.
What about she swear?
Yeah. Because she swear for not giving information. She swear for not giving a testimony. But we can say that his willing was like of in control with the guy who bring her in Gabon. So she can't have a punishment. She can't have a punishment. That the government do is to bring her with the one NGOs we call Arc-en-Ciel for the women. Arc-en-Ciel can take care of him, but Arc-en-Ciel receives each year a lot of money from UNICEF to care about the women, the small girls who are victim of sexual exploitation through human trafficking, something like that. And then she can stay there for 1-2 years, and by be part of the program they are developing there, and to cure I can say the wonder, the psychological wonder she have through the prostitution or through human trafficking. And then after the end of the program, the government proposed them to have a job in Gabon. If they like, they are free to say, okay, after the end of the program, the trafficker are put in jail. Now I have my family and I need to go back home in my country. Okay, it's good. And then UNICEF can, with the government, provide the ticket of flight, the world document, or made by that NGOs working closely with the courts to have documents and to have her tickets, a small amount, and to go back home. That is the first situation if the victim need to get back home. But if the victim need to stay in Gabon for 5 years again or 10 years again, okay. And then there is another program to search one job, the good one she can have with the monitoring of the government and UNICEF, and to assist the victim to have a good job, and for not seeing that victim to involve again in prostitution or in the framework of trafficking, human trafficking. And then she can have a job. She can have what we call in French carte de séjour. That means an ID for foreign workers, an ID. And then with that ID, she can have a house, have a job, a house, and she's free to have a lover, again, a man, even a Gabonese citizen or a foreign man who can get married with her, but in conformity with the law.
So she should not repeat again prostitution work or sex work again and again, right?
But yeah,